Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Drinks and Discussion. Along with Trey and Marcus, I am Brian, and we will be your hosts for another 2 hours. We are coming to you live from Uncorked Bar and Grill. We are at the corner of Custer and Virginia. If you're in McKinney, stop by. We are also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So if you're out there on your favorite streaming service, please check us out. We look forward to another enjoyable evening with you guys. And any topic that we discussed tonight, please chime in with your comments. Also, don't forget, give us a like. Push the little thumbs up on the Facebook and or the YouTube services, or any, if you're on Twitch as well, so that we know that you are out there and following us as well. We appreciate you guys as always. And again, if there's anything that you'd like to talk about or something that you'd like us to drink, feel free to let us know. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing this evening? It's good to see the three amigos back in the same spot. Marcus is back joining us. His daughter was on spring break last week. Good to have you back, sir. How's baby girl's arm? Okay. Okay, cool. All right, our resident bartender is here to give us a little bit of a background on what we are drinking this evening, sir.
Where are we at? Where's the camera? Where's that? There it is.
No, stay right here. I got it right here for you.
Oh, there's the camera right there. So today we are going to be tasting the Whistle Pig Piggyback. This is the 6-year. It's a rye. We did not make a cocktail with it this time around. We usually do old fashions and Boulevardiers, Manhattans, but this time it's just going to be straight up on fat ice. What's it taste like? Should be a little spicy.
Where's this distilled?
So this one in American oak barrels. So in America. No, I'm just joking. Man, your listeners are probably like, "Don't you know that?" Doesn't say on the bottle.
Is it Tennessee, man?
I'm going to have to look that up and let you know. Boom, boom, boom. Are you looking it up?
If you guys are watching and you guys know where Whistle Pig Piggyback is distilled, let us know. But I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to take a little drag of this.
100% rye. It should be a little spicy.
It is a little spicy. Is it rye?
It's a rye, 100%
It is a
rye.
rye, yeah. It's got a little kick.
Most people have had the Whistle Pig 10-year, which is a rye, but this one right here is the 6.
6-year?
A little friendlier on the fries. Does it?
So,
another thing too, though, when you're drinking is like, if you just ate something, and when you take your first drink, it'll taste a certain way. Or if you haven't had anything all day, you're kind of like conditioning your mouth for whatever it is that you're drinking, you know, whether it's a non-alcoholic CRB or one of these spirits that you guys have in front of you. So the first one will do that to you.
The second one is...
And then from there, it get kind of smoother.
You know, it tastes almost like a Scotch taste to me.
Really?
It's kind of got that hearty, flavorful Scottish kind of Scotch taste to me.
Well, for me, the interesting thing about Scotches is there's so many different flavor profiles of Scotch.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can find some Scotches that some people would probably say are comparable to bourbons.
Yes. I think maybe on the next go-around we should probably dabble in some Scotches that you guys have.
We've got some Scotches that we can do too. A Scotch and then eventually some tequilas.
I will do tequilas as well because I'm starting to dabble into tequilas. After I had what's the Azul?
The Clase Azul.
Yes.
Yep.
Once I had that, I'm like, tequila can be kind of nice to sip on. It really can.
To sip on too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get the Reposados, the Añejos, the Ultra Añejos. Those are really nice to sip on.
So what do we have in this CRB from Mr. Marcus? Then?
CRB is going to be a strawberry mojito. So it's going to be strawberry puree, mojito, lime juice, simple syrup, a little bit of soda water, and a shot of rum.
Shot of rum.
No, it's strawberry puree, no spicy. Because I know you don't like spice. Well, not as much as that one. No, 11, a lifetime.
You gotta get.
It's not spicy, is it?
You got to get back on the wagon. And you didn't even know you were off the wagon.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Everyone on the podcast.
All right, Danny, we appreciate you, buddy. As always, man.
How was that?
It was good. It was good.
Is that an energy drink?
It was pink.
Is that an energy drink? Mountain Dew Spark? Is that an energy drink or no?
It's just a regular, like a soda.
It's a soda?
Yeah.
Yeah, just regular.
Oh, okay. It was good though? Yeah. What's your
You-
favorite
you-
drink? Like your favorite beverage to drink?
Favorite beverage? I'm a Mountain Dew guy.
Is that right? Regular Mountain Dew?
Regular Mountain Dew. The only ones I really won't drink are the orange, the red live wire.
What about the blue one?
The blue one, I'll drink the blue one.
Yeah. My dad used to drink a lot of Mountain Dew. There's a lot
Really?
of sugar in there.
A lot of sugar.
Yeah.
A lot of caffeine too. A lot of caffeine in Mountain Dews too. That's why Marcus is always so even keel. He's the same all the time. He's never like, "Hey Brian, how y'all doing?" He's the same. He's always drinking that Mountain Dew. He's always up, man, for anything.
That's why when I go to bed at night,
He's like, you didn't fake the funk all day long. It's time to go to bed. Hey, we got some viewers already out there. If you guys are out there, please share us and give us a like. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook if you're out there watching us, or on any of the other streaming services. We appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys watching us. I'm going to go ahead and do a little share. Oh, absolutely. Make sure. Yeah, I'm trying to share this thing too. Let me.
my mom was
Nice. You know what's so funny too? Because I was golfing the other day, and one of the guys that's a part of our group, he also was saying the exact same thing. He says, "Oh yeah, Brian, I saw your podcast the other night," and I'm like, "Really? I had no idea that you were even watching." And that's one of the things where we're telling you guys, if you guys are paying attention and you're watching, please let us know that you're there so that we can give you a shout out. We appreciate the viewership, and we hope that you guys will give us a like and participate in the conversations that we have as well. This is actually really nice, and I've heard of Whistleback with old fashions. I just never have had this on the rocks like I'm doing right now, but it's actually pretty. I'm getting used to it now. You? Right. Yeah. No. But you know what's weird? It feels good too because it's a little chilly outside, especially when you came in. You said you were a little chilly. When you hit something like this and it goes down, and you're kind of feeling like, man, this is actually a really good flavor. That's what I like. The best time to drink bourbon and scotches is when it's kind of nippy outside. If you had a cigar right now and you're sitting outside, would be the perfect time to have a cigar right now. Just saying. I know you guys don't partake of the wacky tobacco, but I enjoy my cigars. And again, I'm going to tell you, I still enjoy. My wife got me a humidor for Valentine's Day. I appreciate that very much. I'm still got some cigars in there. I'm still, catching up or building my stash. So I'm kind of happy with my cigar. My cigar lifestyle right now. So I want to get into it, guys. All right, and I know we normally talk about lighter subjects, what we're doing, how our weekend was, and all this kind of stuff, and it has something to do with my weekend. But I wanted to get this off my chest because we skirt around a lot of topics, and as we continue to build the platform, again, I want people to understand we're not professionals on any of the subject matters that we talk about, but I like to talk about things that have impacted me, something I've experienced, so that I can have an educated conversation about the topic that we're talking. We don't just go up and just say something that somebody mentioned and we have no idea what we're talking about. A lot of times we pre-meet on these podcasts so that we can go in and actually everybody can research before we have these conversations. But I know that you guys know about this before I even mentioned it, but I didn't want these guys to even know about this because it kind of bothered me to the point where I had to research some things in order to make a very educated conversation about what I'm about to tell you. So the person I'm about to tell the story, I won't mention their names, but I want them to know if they're watching this is not about you. This is about me and why I do and say the things that I do. I had a conversation on the golf course today, this weekend, and I was playing with some guys who I consider dear friends to me. They're like brothers to me. And it didn't this was not a heated argument. It was not a debate, but someone told me when in the middle of this conversation that I didn't even bring up, that every time I bring this subject up, that I get argumentative, that I get angry or I think the argumentative was the word he used. I typically don't like to be called argumentative when I'm having a discussion with someone because it means that you're trying to either mansplain me, explain me, or you're acting like you have a sense of superiority over me. If we're just having a conversation, why do I have to be the angry black man, basically? I don't like to be called that. Unless I'm really heated, you will know I'm heated. But just because we're having a conversation and we're going back and forth, that it does not mean that I am angry or argumentative. I'm listening to what you say. You're just as animated in your speech than I am. So don't call me angry or confrontational. The topic was Trump. And I did not bring this subject up, but it was brought up. And they said to me, they were spreading this narrative that if Donald Trump was in office, we would not be in the situation we are with the economy. We wouldn't be in the war with Ukraine, all these talking points. And I said to them, I don't understand how people can say that when the economy was trending downward when Trump left office. Let's remember this. It's not like Biden inherited a great economy. COVID had wreaked a havoc on our economy. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. And there was no chance or no outlook that a change was coming in that administration. Number two, I also don't like to play hypothetical games when it comes to reality. If this person was in office or if this person could have done this, you just don't know because it's not going to happen. It's like the GOAT. How can you tell me if LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan if they've never played in the same era? The games has evolved and changed dramatically, so there's really nothing that you can do. Arguments for both can actually make good arguments for both sides. I know I'm rambling. This is a long story. I know it. I'm going to let you guys chime in. But here's my thing. And then I want you guys to chime in before I get into any further. They said that my argument against Trump is I believe that Trump is racist. That's the only reason I don't like Trump. That's what they told me. Now, before I go into it any further, if you guys are watching, share your thoughts. Again, I am never going to tell you guys that I align strictly with the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I align with common sense. There are things about the Republican Party that I do believe in. There are things in the Democratic Party I do believe in. There are radical right-wing people that I can't stand. There are radical left-wing individuals that make no sense to me either. So let's stop with the finger pointing on who's got the most crackpots on their party and just deal with what is reality. What say you, gentlemen, so far?
We're all made differently. We all look differently. We're probably going to take it. Because you have a different opinion or a different mindset or a different way that doesn't allow somebody else. Why does that have to be argumentative? Number one. Number two, why do we have to be very negative competition? Because that's just
Right.
that's where that comes from, right? Because even me, sometimes I feel like Brian just has his Donald Trump and there's no change, right? Because we've even spoken on this podcast about a couple of things. Like, I don't necessarily know if you outright called it racist, but I know you spoke about certain things and you said those things are racist. Like, and I can remember exactly saying, oh, with the whole Proud Boy thing, saying, just come out and denounce that. You know, she just came out and yada, yada, yada. And that's definitely, I got loyalty. Get my loyalty now. I'm not sure they're going to keep it now that they part of T-Mobile. Because I was never part of T-Mobile. So I'm not really, we have opinions past it.
Absolutely. I've got to change some things. Jennifer said they can't hear you guys, but I'm going to hopefully fix that real quick. Go ahead and talk now, guys.
Check.
Yes.
Mic check.
Okay, we're good.
Mic check.
I'm glad I was doing a lot of talking.
That entire dialogue.
No, they heard a lot of what I was saying, but go ahead and repeat what you just said real quick, because you said I can be passionate. Everybody can be passionate about things, but go ahead, restate what you just said in case people didn't hear.
So, just in case y'all didn't hear it, I'm just going to repeat myself, but in a shorter way. I was just saying, I know Brian, he can be passionate about certain things. So I can understand that being a friend, being a family member with him, feeling that he may have a little bit of bias when it comes to certain subjects. We're talking about ex-President Donald Trump right now. Do I believe sometimes you may have a little bias in you about him? Yes. Like I said, I don't know if you've outright came and called President Trump a racist, but I know we've spoke about it here on the podcast about him not denouncing Proud Boys and how that's racist, and certain things that he said are racist, you know, etc. But more or less, that's pretty much what I said, you know. And it's okay to be passionate about something when you're speaking about something, right? There's not a negative connotation that brings with that. As long as you're not calling each other names, you're both being logical in your conversation and not being emotional, then it doesn't matter if, you know, someone may, you know, raise their voice a little bit or move their hands when they're speaking. For those of you who don't know, we are 1/16th Italian. So, you know, it's just in our blood to move our hands around. Ain't that right, Mr. Nichols?
You know what? I want to thank Ken for always watching, by the way. My wife is watching. I want to also give Marcus a chance to, too. You had said something also, and I'm going to respond to your hands always moving type of a thing as well. But, Marcus, you had something to say as well that maybe the people did not hear regarding, you know, having the conversations as well.
Yeah, no, what I was saying basically is I don't understand, because you were talking about how the person that you were speaking to felt like you come across as argumentative. And my point on that is, why does being argumentative have to carry such a negative connotation? You know, we're all different people. We think differently. We view things differently. What's wrong with you know, stating your position on something? What's wrong with them stating their position?
Right.
And then to Trey's point, you know, as long as it doesn't escalate to the point of name calling, you know, this and that and the other, but and it's constructive, then what's wrong?
And I want to reiterate, the conversation has no bearing on how I feel about this person. Again, this is my brother I'm talking about. And if you're brothers, you have arguments, okay? You have arguments, and then you go on and you continue. And the round of golf was just great. There was no issues there. This is not about he and I. This is about something that I want to express in this platform so people understand once and for all where I'm coming from. I'm the minority. I'm the one who has been racially profiled here in McKinney by a TABC person. When I had my Escalade going up here to the gas station here, I had my New Edition playing, TBAC official, just pumping gas. You know how many times you see an old man with a Corvette with the top down, listen to some classical music, some Frank Sinatra? You know how many times I've seen that around here? Nobody says anything. My New Edition love songs You know me, I love my New Edition. By the way, going Thursday, by the way, New Edition concert, you will see me, and I will make sure that I post all my pictures and talk about it on the next podcast. I would look, Ken. I appreciate the links, but we don't have a producer on the show. We're not opening up links on the show. Tell us what you're talking about and give us some substance. We appreciate the comments, but I don't know what those links are at this moment. But anyway, the TBAC official said that my music was too loud, and she wanted me to turn it down. I said, show me your decibel meter and let me know what ordinance I'm breaking, and then I will turn it down. Still pump my gas. She asked me for my driver's license and all my other stuff. I said no. Got in my car, drove off. Got to right here. She followed me. Turned their lights on because TBAC officials have the flashing lights in their unmarked cars.
Wait, isn't for a quick question? TBAC, isn't that like
the people
for alcohol and
yes,
beer and
yes.
Wait a second, they can pull you over?
I did not know that either. This happened, guys. So listen,
okay.
I'm not coming to you guys as a place that says, oh, Brian, you know, you've never experienced racism in your life. You live in McKinney. You do so well, and you speak so well for yourself. You talk so eloquently. I mean, this is why I'm telling you guys. I'm giving you guys a whole lot of background information before I tell you what I'm really going to tell you. So they pulled me over. I stopped. I pulled into that Home Depot right across the street from where we are right now. This is before Uncorked was here and all this other stuff. I stopped. They waited until a police officer showed up before they got and said anything to the car. Luckily, I knew the police officer. The police officer that came over and talked to me was the same police officer as I wanted to beat the crap out of a guy who I saw witness beating his wife on my street. We're pulling out of my street. Happenstance. But he tells me this. He goes, so man, you know, whenever you see flashing lights of anybody and of any official capacity, just pull over and do what they ask you to do. This is before all the stuff that's going on now. Just because I say that you are supposed to obey my commands doesn't mean that you're supposed to. She had no jurisdiction over what I was doing, my music, or anything like that. She wanted to overstep her authority to impress upon me that she felt she was superior to me. How I felt. Which is how I felt. The music wasn't any louder. Again, I didn't have any subwoofers. I didn't have any sound system. It was just standard radio playing in my Escalade. So when I see people who are aligning themselves or don't denounce somebody who demonstrates to me hate speech, racial epithets, things to me that seems that they are aligning with, people who are aligned with people who hate minorities, I don't get down with that. I didn't get down with it when I was in high school and I was being made fun of because I was like one of maybe 2 black people in my entire elementary class. I didn't get down with it. Marcus knows. So even though slavery was a long time ago, I am not my parents. My parents had to deal with segregation and some things that we didn't. But Marcus and I aren't that old. We still had to deal with racism growing up. I still deal with racism now. I see you shaking your head. Now. So when I get to some points here, ladies and gentlemen, please share your viewpoints. I know, Ken, you've got some articles right there, some links. I'll look at those later, and we'll be able to talk about it. But if you can articulate what they are in a text message, or if you want to join the podcast, let us know. I'd love to get your viewpoint on this. But that's where I'm coming from, guys. I'm coming from a victim's perspective. I'm coming from a person who has been racially profiled. I'm coming from a person who has been made fun of because of the color of my skin. I'm coming for a person who had a friend who was Caucasian, and then by the time we got to junior high school, was a skinhead and didn't want anything to do with me. What say you?
I mean, all of that's awful, right? That's just unfortunate that happens. But I'm going to continue to go back onto the times are changing, right? So I still feel that some of the things, like I said, this is just my opinion, but I still feel like some of the things that you're saying may be a little emotionally driven. I understand those things happen, and I mean, that's just atrocious, right? There's no excuse for it.
Those are facts. Those are not emotion. Those are
right.
facts. How I feel about the facts, is different from the facts.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And I don't think I've actually articulated how I felt about it. I'm just telling you about the events that happened.
Right. So you gave the stories, and you said anyone that, has that same type of mentality or does the whatever, you can't get behind, right? So am I assuming you were referring to Trump?
No. I'm referring to anybody who expresses sentiments of hate.
General thing.
Yes, this is a general thing.
Okay. Well, I mean, in general, of course, yeah. I agree with you 100%. I have nothing to disagree about with that. I mean, if you're racist, I'm just going to whoop your ass, honestly. But I mean, I also, at the same time, if anyone's racist that's watching this, I would love to have you on my podcast.
Absolutely.
Really see if you're racist.
Absolutely.
Because I've had this conversation with people before that not liking a black person because of, or any minority person because of XYZ, because, oh, you were robbed, or, oh, because of this. That's not racism. That's called being prejudiced. So you're not really racist.
Right.
Being racist is, I hate you because you're brown.
Right. Listen,
You know what I mean?
I could be
You
prejudiced.
just-
I could be prejudiced because a kid is walking around with his pants hanging down his ass. I think that kid's going to rob me. That's prejudice.
Right.
I might be
Exactly.
prejudiced at any bald white guy that comes around because I think he might be a skinhead. He might not be, but I'm looking at that bald white guy. I'm like, oh, he might be cool. Cool. That's not racist. I get the difference. I understand the difference. Hopefully, you guys all get the difference as well. What say you, sir? You got any comments you want to make? Because I can definitely give you the microphone.
Y'all sound like y'all believe what I believe, but I got to know what you're talking about. I just listened just a little bit. So, what were you talking about? Let me make sure.
Oh, no, never mind. I thought you were like intently into the
No,
conversation.
it sounded like you were saying that just because somebody is white, that they're not racist.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
So we're talking about the difference between a racist and prejudice.
Okay. Okay. I understand.
So you're a black man,
I think everybody's prejudiced.
right? Well, so you're a black man wearing a hoodie.
Yes.
I
A
agree.
lot of people could be sitting here thinking, "Oh, a black man with a hoodie, he is probably some thug."
Yes.
That's not necessarily make you a racist.
Right.
Same thing with a white person. If a white person came in here with, some Wranglers and cowboy boots, oh, he's like some redneck. That's not entirely true. You can be prejudicial based upon your, conceived ideas, but does not make you a racist. That's what we're
That
talking
is,
about.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Great.
Sometimes we get tripped up over the appearance.
So, should we, Marcus, go ahead. Give us your little insight a little bit as well, what we're talking about before I go into any further.
Yeah, no. I was just saying sometimes we can get tripped up over some appearance, and instantly, and that's natural. That's the thing that we have to guard ourselves against. We see somebody walk in the door, and depending on how they may look, they could be dressed very classy, and we're going to think one thing. They could be dressed very down, and we're going to think another thing. And so that we just have to be careful. To your point, and try to minimize and eliminate those prejudice type thoughts.
And I want to make sure people understand. Our views are just our views. We're not trying to press upon you to change your convictions or your views of anybody, anyone, or what you should believe or what you shouldn't believe. This is just, again, I'm talking about things that happened to me and why I'm bringing this up to everyone. Because, again, I grew up in a very religious household. And all the things that I grew up with, doesn't mean that I actually believe and follow currently, right now, my belief system. But things like bad association spoils useful habits. Habits sticks with me. One rotten arrow spoils the whole bunch. Sticks with me. And I cannot get past that kind of thing, especially if you say you're a Christian or you're all these types of things. When you say that, I just can't get my head around people who can sit there and say, Brian, you're absolutely wrong from your vantage point. This is my vantage point. This is somebody who has dealt with some things racially involved that other people may not have experienced. So why would you sit there and tell me, because of my viewpoint on the, I always call it racial tendencies that Trump has, is wrong to the point where you want to be argumentative and say flat out that I'm wrong for having that opinion.
What's that line in the movie A Few Good Men? You can't handle
the truth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People really can't handle the truth. If you're just pointing out racial tendencies, they're tendencies. You're not saying that person is racist, but you're saying that they are demonstrating some of those tendencies that would make you think they could be.
Right. Well, so here's some points I wanted to bring out to you guys. If you guys are ready for some points, I've got some points for you. About Trump. Some facts. These are just facts, guys. These aren't, I'm making this up. I'm not giving you guys feelings. I'm giving you facts. Did you guys know from 1982 to 2009, Donald Trump was registered as a Democrat?
Did not know that.
Facts. He only registered in 2014 after Obama was elected president as a Republican. From 2011 and 2012, he was a independent. Facts. So let's talk about reasons why I keep saying I believe that Donald Trump has racial tendencies. Did you know that the EU actually wanted to ban him from even coming before he was elected president? Oh, in 2016, he was almost banned from going to the EU because of his Muslim hate speech. They wanted to prevent him.
EU, you're talking
Europe.
European Union.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He also said that a judge who was Mexican of heritage was incompetent to reside over his trial for the Trump University debacle, where he was defrauding students, because he said they were trying to build a wall and the Mexican was not going to give him a fair shot. Because he was Mexican, he wasn't going to give Donald Trump a fair shake.
Well, into you saying
but hold on. The guy was born in Indiana.
Right. Okay. So, into you saying that, I can agree with you that sometimes President Trump didn't know the exact verbiage to use, the more acceptable, right? So I laughed the other day because he had a podcast that got taken down off of YouTube. I don't know if you guys knew about that. It was live for about 12 hours, had 5 million views, and they got taken down, which is a whole nother topic we can get into. It's unacceptable.
Is that when they were talking about music too? That guys, what he was talking about the guys with the music too, in that podcast he did with those guys.
They were talking about everything, but the reason that they said that they took it down was because he spoke about the voting fraud. Oh, so that's why they took it down.
Still with the voting fraud.
I want to talk about that after this because that's just insane that happened, right? But he still called COVID the China virus, right? Oh, I laughed and I was like, come on, brother. You know that rubs people the wrong way, so let's stop using that word to describe the COVID-19 because it makes, the minority of Chinese people maybe feel a certain way.
Stop making excuses for this dude. That's what I want people to do. Stop making excuses for this guy who was 70-something years old. He lived back when my parents went through segregation. He went through the Vietnam War. He went through those times where there were oppressed people. So why are we trying to show him he has to still learn something as the president of the United States? Stop making excuses, folks. I just don't understand. Oh, he still said the China flu. He still said this. This is not the person I want representing my country.
At the same time, I feel like you're being a little sensitive. And the reason I say this is because someone says something necessarily that you don't agree with emotionally doesn't mean he's a bad person, right? Doesn't make him a bad leader or a bad person to make judgment calls, right? Just because I may be an asshole doesn't mean I wasn't a good leader when I was in the military. You know what I mean? Or make me a bad leader at my current job, right? Just because sometimes I may say something that may not be PC, right? So that's why I love the joke of hey, at least there's no more mean tweets, right? We have $5 a gallon gas, but there's no more mean tweets that are hurting your feelings. You know what I mean? So in that aspect, okay, I can understand what you're saying, right? But do you, Brian, say some certain things sometimes that you wouldn't want everyone to hear? Yes or no? And be honest.
Wait a minute. There are times where I read the room. Oh yeah, I take that. I'll go. Yeah, come on, bring it to me. Yeah. So for instance, and I see what you're saying. I get your point. There are times when Trey and I were hanging out at home with our family. We're playing dominoes. We're playing spades. We're playing something. And there are language that I don't use normally that we use when we're hanging around our circle of friends. That's
Right.
in an intimate setting that I wish and hope that if somebody actually did have to say, hey, that I'm going to videotape this and I'm going to blast Brian out for saying it, I'm going to put it in context that this is when this intimate setting that it was not supposed to be used in a public forum. Great. I'm human. I do some things that sometimes are beneath my age group. Sometimes when I'm drinking, hanging out with my family. When I'm in my professional life, I don't. There's not one time I will sit there and go, man, I'm glad that didn't get shared because I'm a professional. The highest person in all of the free world is the President of the United States. There is no one who should be more conscientious of their demeanor, their verbiage than the president. So again, this is not about Brian have my feelings hurt from what he said. It's just like people of that nature in that position shouldn't be saying it. They shouldn't be thinking it.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily, and I don't. To your point earlier, Brian, about there are some things that I feel strongly about on the Republican side, and there's some things that I feel strongly about on the Democratic side. But so I don't, and I try to look at things objectively. Do I think Trump has some moronic tendencies? Yes, but I do appreciate his authenticity and just being just being himself. Now, to your point again, you got to police yourself when you're in a certain position. When you're at a certain level, you have to. There are certain things that you can and you should not say.
And I agree with you what you're saying too. I understand that people love that off the cuff. I'm true and authentically me. This is who I am. I get that part of it. Yeah. That's the charm of the whole Donald Trump aura. I get it. But let me continue. Let's move it forward to COVID. And then I'm going to take it backwards. So COVID came and people started...
Pandemic?
COVID came and people started saying, Republican Party, including Donald Trump, that we don't need a COVID passport. That's Nazi Germany. Not the Gestapo, not the soup, but the Gestapo police. This is not checking your cards. Rewind to when he said President Barack Obama needed to show his card, his birth certificate, to prove he was capable of being their president. Wait a minute. No other president of any background did he come in and question their ability or their right to serve, other than the first black person to be elected to the highest official of all the land. That in itself is inherently racially motivated. Prove me I'm wrong.
Well, do you say it's racially motivated, or was it the narrative? Because that was the narrative that every, media outlet was saying. Oh, his name is Barack Hussein Obama. He wasn't born in the United States. He was born. Where did they say he was born again? I can't remember. Hawaii, right? But they were trying to say he was born where? Because his father wasn't an American, correct? If I'm wrong.
No, his father
was his father not American?
Yeah, I forget what nationality. I don't want to get misquoted. He wasn't. Yeah, he was what? Kenyan. He was Kenyan.
Okay. So his father's not an American citizen, and his mother was, right?
Right.
Was an American citizen. Okay, from Kansas. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, do I think it was more of hey, I don't like that guy wearing that blue shirt. Do you like that guy wearing that blue shirt? No, not you either. You either. Okay, we all don't like that guy wearing that blue shirt now, and we're all gonna continue to echo that. I think it was one of those things that, hey, everyone is echoing, hey, show us the birth certificate. Show us the birth certificate. So I think it may be one of those types of shows.
Let's pause. I hear what you're saying.
Ammo, right?
Listen,
hey, I want people to like me, so I'm going to take anything I can.
I'm only going to give you the facts. I heard this. Same narrative. He was a state senator before he was elected president.
Mm-hmm.
The qualifications were already in line in order to get to that level. He's also a barred attorney. You have to show proof there, too. So what are we talking about?
I mean, I agree with you. I thought it was a silly point of view, right?
I'm only here for facts, guys. I'm not sitting here telling you Brian is saying these things. I'm giving you guys facts on why there is a narrative, because you're talking about narratives, why people like myself believe Donald Trump is racist, or not racist, he has racial tendencies. He's aligning himself with people who are racist. His constituents or his people that he likes to talk to directly are racist individuals.
Well, if that's your case, President Biden said, I don't want my children going to school with those animals whenever desegregation happens.
Whoa. So wait a minute.
What do you mean, whoa?
Because I know you're going to say that. Because you can't say, because back in the early 70s, I think it was, or maybe even earlier, you can't say that people can't misspeak in a time and era about something with Donald Trump, but then say Biden
gets a pass.
No. I didn't say he couldn't. He has to be held accountable, and he was. He's been asked about that and over and over and over, and he has said over and over and over again, he was wrong. He was wrong.
I can respect that.
Okay, owning up to your transgressions.
He's not racist, though.
Listen. Racist behavior is a pattern.
And he had a pattern.
Wait a minute.
There's multiple YouTube videos showing Joe Biden having multiple speeches during the desegregation, multiple, and printed out of transcripts of what he was saying, talking to just negativity towards desegregation, how it's going to negatively impact our children, how they're going to negatively, there's going to be confrontations.
Show me the facts.
You knew about the one that was reported, right?
That was in Congress. He had a speech during Congress. It's on video.
He wasn't in Congress. He was in a restaurant, brother, being recorded. So you're wrong. Right?
No. The part that he started saying that segregation and busing was wrong was in Congress. It was in a hearing he was involved in. But again, I'm going to give you a whole soliloquy. You can have your whole diatribe about Joe Biden whenever you're ready. But I'm going to give you facts about, and you try to defend Donald Trump. Don't try to change don't try to turn and make a curve and say, oh, let's don't talk about Donald Trump. Let's talk about Biden now. Okay, I'll give you a whole podcast for this. We're talking about Donald J. Trump. Let's not forget, the Department of Justice sued Donald Trump organization for discriminating against black people because he didn't want them living in his apartment buildings. Mm-hmm. That was actually in 1980 something.
You better look that up. You better get on your
I got my notes.
Let me look that up.
No. It was 1973. 1973. 1973. You're right. What I was going to say about the 1980 or was 1992, the Trump casino was charged with having, when Trump came to the casino, all the black people had to be off the floor before he and Ivanka came into the casino.
Yeah, I want to see that. I need to fact check that, brother.
Fact check it.
Because I need you to cite your statement.
Listen.
I was Michael Jackson, I wouldn't have to be off the floor.
I agree with that.
What happened?
100%.
What happened?
He said if he was Michael Jackson, he wouldn't have to be off the floor.
Well,
Black people, or is it poor?
no. 1992 is not just black people. It was the car dealers. If you were a car dealer, you could not be on the floor for certain high class and high rollers that came in. The black car dealers would be removed off the floor.
Okay.
Listen,
This was at his.
I'm looking at my notes. At his casino.
Okay.
Hold on. There's more. There's also, but there was also accounts that said that he says that laziness is a trait in black people. That's a quote. You remember that? You remember that? The Trump said that laziness is a trait in all black people.
I do not. But I will say this. I think the majority of white people believe that because of sickle cell. Sickle cell causes black people to be tired, which is something that affects black people more than it does any other race. So therefore, they were considering us as being lazy as opposed to we may have sickle cell. So
fact check, by the way, for that, because that's insane that you said that. There's no evidence that Trump said Africans have the trait of being lazy, good at sex, and theft. This was debunked in 2015.
No, I said the account said that the laziness is a trait in black. I didn't say he said black people are lazy.
That was all white people, including the current president of the United States, who is by far the worst president. And that's the one thing I studied presidents. Jimmy Carter was horrible. Because I was born and I was a kid when Jimmy Carter was president. I was in the second grade. Worst president we've ever had. And now Joe Biden is making him think to himself, he may not admit it, I'm not the worst president in the country now. There were some bad presidents. Franklin Pierce was bad. James Buchanan was bad. Millard Fillmore was probably bad. He was pretty bad. And including in 1920, the president that was elected, Warren Gamaliel Harding, was a pretty bad president. Hoover sent us into the Depression, and Roosevelt, even though I'm an independent, Roosevelt is a Democrat, he removed us from that, but it was because of the war, World War II. When we were in Jimmy Carter's era, I was a second grader all the way up to when I was a sixth grader. I remember going to the gas station with my dad, sitting in long gas lines because the gas prices were astronomical. We are in that process again because of President Joe Biden. He is making bad decisions. Do I believe he is a bad man himself? No.
What decision did Joe Biden do to make the guy's prices go up?
He canceled the pipeline. One. And when Alaska tells us, when the Alaska governor comes out and says, I can produce enough gas to supply the United States, that's Alaska. We don't even consider Texas. That's Alaska itself. Why are we buying gas from Venezuela? Is the question I would ask. You absolutely.
Also,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump in y'all podcast.
We appreciate George Lloyd getting on there and saying they couldn't hear you. That's why I put you on the phone. I appreciate the candor, and I love these type of conversations. But let me explain to you. Let me. Can I rebut, or do you want to go first?
Piggyback, because last week
this has nothing to do about me saying that Trump is racist. By the way,
fracking illegal as well. So if we allow the pipeline, offshore fracking in Alaska to go, we have enough oil in the United States to last us a lot.
Yes, we do.
But they won't do it. And did you know that President Trump filled our oil reserves up? It was something like 60 trillion gallons, something insane. And that Biden released like 50% of that to help combat the prices of gas, right? Y'all know that,
Fact.
right? So you can fact check that. There's an oil reserve.
No.
And President Trump, during his presidency, filled it up to the max. This is the first time it had been filled up in like 60 years. Biden trying to it makes him see like he's the hero. He took like, it wasn't 50%, it was like 35% of that oil reserves and put it onto the market, which if you notice, I noticed because I have to use premium in my car. So gas premium was like $4.91. And then like the next day it went from $4.91 to like $4.52. You know what I mean? And that happened because Biden took 35% of the oil reserves, federal oil reserves, and put it into circulation. If we continue to use different countries' oil instead of using our own, it's going to be the downfall of our economy. We're going to go ahead and make Iran rich right now and make Venezuela, the dictator, rich, and all the people that are left there rich right now. That's what we're doing. And what do you think happens when you make the dictators and the dictator in Venezuela and all his constituents rich? What happens? Oh, hey, we now have the funds to continue doing in Venezuela what we've been doing. And that's what's happening. That is I really don't care that much about President Biden. He's a president. It's probably the hardest job to do in the world, but regardless, what he's doing in that aspect, it's wrong. 110%.
That's good stuff. You taught me something there.
Well, I'm gonna educate you further. No one has extracted and drilled and supplied more oil than this administration. That's a fact. All the things that you have just said, Biden has surpassed more oil and gas than any other administration in reserve right now. And by the way, there are companies that actually.
Wait, what are you saying? Repeat that?
I'm saying that there has never been more oil drilled and supplied or in our reserve right now than any other administration.
That's because of President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump hasn't been in office for 2 years.
He filled the entire reserve up, and I can show you everything.
There's never been another administration that has done more in the oil industry and gathered more oil than any other administration than this administration. That's number one. Number two, let me explain something to you. The pipeline that you keep talking about, the Alaskan pipeline, I don't know if you're talking about the one over there in Russia. I don't know if that was like the Norvac 2 or whatever it is called. I don't know what pipeline you guys are talking about that's causing this gas high prices. The gas prices are because the gas companies are saying the profits that we knew we were going to make fell short of our projections. And therefore, the demand for gas is high. We deserve to get more profits, so we raised our prices. That is nothing to do with Joe Biden. Nothing to do with Joe Biden. In fact, I actually have a note here. I'm going to tell you what the acronym is. It's called what's the ECOT or what is it? What's the governing body that actually? I'm sorry,
OPEC.
what? Oh, OPEC. So OPEC actually says, okay, there are a lot of countries that have oil and gas on their property, and it's called international commerce. So we say, hey, we can actually deal this and this way in order to keep your economy going, sustain your economy. We're not just saying that we can operate in a bubble as the United States. It's called international commerce. That's a good thing. It establishes rapport with other countries. Of course, I think that we could be.
Dictator. I forgot.
Listen, we can actually be an independent country when it comes to oil and gas. But I also believe too that the climate is getting to where technology is surpassing these old forms of gasoline and harmful fossil fuels. If we can get energy and produce energy from other forms of energy, that is a good thing, so that we can supply our own and become more and more energy efficient or energy independent. And so it's almost like, and I said this before in our last one of our podcasts, the fax machine was a revolutionary device. We don't use fax machines anymore. The people who were employed to do fax machines and manufacture fax machines are doing something else now. So I get it. And I've got a niece who's married to somebody who works in the oil field. And I would, those are jobs that are probably going to go away eventually. You're going to have to find another livelihood in order to make ends meet. That's just what works. I'm in technology. I'm not working on Windows 95 anymore. I'm not doing the same technology that I started out when I first started technology. You have to keep educating yourself and getting more and more educated on the newer technologies and newer forms of whatever it is in the industry that you do. Danny has a whole lot of freaking damn drinks. Danny has a whole lot of drinks that he has to deal with. And it's not the same whiskeys. It's not the same bourbons. It's blended. It's splendid scotches. It's rye whiskeys. It's all these different things that come out that are new. And that's where our economy is. And that's why I keep saying, why are we still being held back? Because of these old forms of petrol. It makes no sense to me.
So are you calling petrol outdated?
No, I'm saying it will be.
When?
Well, listen, there's a lot of Teslas driving around right now. There's a lot of cars that are going full electric.
Yeah, just about every manufacturer has got an electric car coming out
Right.
this year.
I'm not putting timelines on it. That makes no sense. I'm not a great prognificator.
Let me ask you both something. And I'm going to sound a little condescending. It's on purpose.
I know you are.
What powers an electric vehicle?
Battery cells.
Do you have the same answer, Brian?
What powers an electric vehicle?
Batteries.
Electricity.
No, not electricity. So it's Brian's
Batteries.
correct. It's battery cells. Where are 90% of battery cells made? 90%.
I don't have the answer to that.
I have the answer.
Is it a foreign country?
Coal plants here in the United States. Coal
You're
plants.
you're missing the point.
No. Let me continue. Do you know the footprint that coal plants leave?
A lot.
Carbon fiber.
Yes.
Did you know carbon fiber is the equivalent of I can't remember, it's a pretty big sheet. I think it's like a 10 by 10, so 10 feet long by 10 foot wide sheet of carbon fiber that they use in a lot of the cars and wrapping in the batteries. Did you know it's the equivalent to 50,000 vehicles driving for 24 hours, making one 10 by 10 sheet of carbon fiber? That's the footprint.
Making it.
Excuse me?
Making it, not actually driving it.
Making it. Correct. But so 110, and it could be 11 by 11, it could be 8 by 8. But one sheet is 50,000 cars driving for 24 hours.
So
how many sheets of carbon do you think is created, and how many batteries do you think are created?
So we got Lloyd and Melissa saying that we will never be all electric on a power grid. We will never be all electric. It was a power grid. And then Lloyd said probably not even in our children's lives. Here's the problem. Here's the issue that I'm having with your comments.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying that it's going to be now, currently where we are with technology, that we're going to be away from fossil fuel completely. We're trying to bring it down. Just trying to bring it down. And as technology comes with the batteries or whatever thing you're saying, in order to encapsulate that battery cell and how much emissions it costs, technology continues. And again, I'm a technology guy, so technology continues to improve and to get better. So we're not sustained with just what we are now. Technology keeps moving forward. And as we get closer to improving these things, we're going to become less and less dependent on coal mines and oil fields and all those types of things. Never saying that we're going to be completely independent, but when we're talking about these gas prices that are astronomical, that's what we're talking about here. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about the electric cars and what they do to the economy or to the atmosphere or whatever. We're talking about how these things. But hold on, you segued all the way out of my Trump is a racist to electric cars now. How do we get out of this? Again, so we're just saying. I'm just saying that where you're trying to squash. We're not talking about policy. I'm going back to what we're talking about. This is not about policies. I don't care about Joe Biden's policies or Donald Trump's policies, George Bush's policies, Barack Obama's policies right now. That's not the topic here. The topic is, tell me one thing that George Bush, Kanye West got on a telethon and said that George Bush doesn't care about black people. I didn't necessarily agree with it.
Do you know when that happened?
Katrina?
Yeah.
People have said that Barack Obama was a Muslim. McCain, his running opponent, squashed that and said, "Thank you, sir." He actually said, "No, ma'am, you're incorrect. He's a Christian man and he loves America. You're mistaken." He backed up a person he was running against for the president of the United States. Where is that courage now? When you sit up there and hold on, Trump said, that's just a saying. I'm just saying. Trump, I thought you had the microphone. So Trump said too, even in this war with Ukraine, Putin was a smart guy. When he said, "I'm going to go over there and take Kyiv, and I'm going to, bring it and reestablish that as part of Russia," which was the USSR back in the day. Donald Trump said Putin's a good man. Also, remember when Trump said that when they were saying that the Russian meddled in the 2016 elections, and Trump went over there and said to Helsinki and said to everybody that, well, Putin said that he didn't do it, so I believe him. But didn't believe his national security advisors that were saying it. Every person that worked under Donald Trump as their national security advisor or any other capacity has said Donald Trump was Putin's puppet. He would not have been strong on this war against the Ukraine. This is what his people are saying, not Brian. This is what people are saying. Go ahead. I'm done. I'm done
Wait,
with that.
say that again. You're saying that people are saying that Trump was Putin's puppet?
Yes. No, I'm not saying that. His old advisors, people who worked in his administration are saying that. And he would have been worse in this war with Putin than what we are right now. I'm not saying this for me. I'm saying this is what people are saying. Who worked with Donald Trump. And by the way, just in case you guys are watching, which we appreciate this, nobody on this podcast agrees with me yet. Nobody. Marcus is like in that middle of the fence. He's like, I'm listening. And Trey is not. He's on the opposite end of my thinking. We do this because we know that we're going to give you guys all sides of the argument. So this is not. I'm not bringing this to these guys because I want them to agree with me. I'm not expecting our viewers to agree with me. I'm just bringing it to you guys to get your perspective. I want people to give me something back and say, well, here's what you're missing, Brian. And I said this before. I get the charm of Donald Trump. I get it. He's an authentic individual. He is who he is, unapologetically so. We all sit up here and we probably say the exact same thing. I am probably the biggest person of that mantra, if anybody. I am. You like me? If you don't, I don't really give a shit. But if you like me, you understand where I'm coming from. Like Trey said, I'm passionate about some things, and some things I'm not as passionate about. But if you know me, you know where I'm coming from, and you kind of say, well, that's just how Brian is.
Not wanting to beat on a dead horse because we've been talking about this for about an hour and 10 minutes now. But there's a lot of things that have been done wrong by both presidents. There's things that could have been done better.
Not being wrong. We're not talking about wrong.
Regardless, that's what I'm talking about. And I think that the only way we're going to fix these situations that me and you are talking about is by fixing it by who we all vote for. That's all there is to it.
Well, again, this is not about policy, folks. This is about hatred. This is about when somebody stands up and says, you had Antifa that was trying to, infiltrate the January 6th insurrection. You had some BLM people in there, and they tried to make sure that they can actually, especially some Republicans that always wanted to say, these organizations are bad for the country, but I've never heard anyone on the right say, Proud Boys is bad for this country. Okay,
Well,
all the other people that are white supremacists are bad for this country, and I promise you, you can look this up, fact check this. The Department of Justice or the FBI has designated that the white supremacist is the biggest terrorist threat that we have right now in American democracy, folks. I'm not making this up. But what did Lloyd say?
Lloyd said, I think we're asking our politicians not to have racist tendencies might be asking for too much.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I just don't want it to be like thrown in my face every 5 minutes.
Like I said, when I talked about it a while ago, and I know y'all disagreed with me, if you're over 55, you don't need to be running this country, brother. Sorry. It's just all there is to it.
I'm on the fence on this.
I'll even go 60.
Yeah.
I'll even go 60. 60 maximum age. If you grew up before segregation, you shouldn't be in office.
See, and that's so that's not racist that you just said. It's ageist. I see where you're going with this, but I'm also kind of one of those guys that says, with age comes wisdom. I think if you spoke to me 10 years from today or 10 years ago, I probably would not have the same ability to articulate my viewpoints as well as I probably hopefully am doing today on this podcast. I'm not sure if I had that, and I guarantee you, when you look back at these podcasts when you get older, you're going to probably say, I wish I probably could have articulated my viewpoint a little bit more eloquently as you could when you get early or when you're older.
You're trying to say I can't articulate properly?
I'm just saying we always wish we could go back and be better. That's all I'm saying.
Be careful, man.
Listen, I guarantee you when you say, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna get them." See, this is what family members do. I guarantee you when you look back on the podcast and you hit that ponytail, you're sitting there saying, "I'm glad I cut my hair. I'm glad I cut my hair with that ponytail." Yes, you do.
So, and Lloyd, I see you echoing what I'm saying, and
he said 60-ish. He said 60-ish.
Supposed to be 60, and then he said ish. 55, 60. I mean, that's the only way we're going to fix things, right? And like I said, like we've talked about on multiple podcasts before, I'm not going to vilify a 85-year-old man that calls me a Negro, right? Because, like I said, he grew up that way. That was a respectful way to describe a black man back then. And I'm not going to tell him, hey, man, you better not say that again. But regardless, I kind of want to get off this subject.
Hold on.
Because there's some stuff I wanted to talk about.
But hold on.
Oh,
I'm gonna give you a
here we
second.
go, guys.
I'm gonna give you. Listen, I know we have something else to talk about. 2020. You had time to understand that this is not time to keep calling black people the N-word. 2010.
Not an N-word.
2010. You shouldn't be calling a black person the N-word.
Are you saying that Negro is
18.
the N-word?
Listen, if you did it is a form of a racial epithet. calling a black person Negro.
About to call you out right now.
Listen, why would you call a black person Negro? That is a form of the Nigger.
Why do you call me a nigga sometimes?
Man, I ain't never said that to you. I call you High Yella every day. I call you High
He
Yella.
got called out. He's denying it. Hey, Brian, all his white friends. I'm exposing right now. I'm joking, right? I'm saying that in a joking way, but I'm being serious right now.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Okay, so
You can't change a book. You can't change an old dog new tricks. Is what you're saying.
Kinda.
Okay.
You can compartmentalize it to that way to fit your view, if that helps you sleep at night. But I'd state nothing but facts, so I just want, for the record.
I'm waiting on you to fact check me
Just
from
wanna
some
say
of the things I said. Anyway, let's move on because Trey has something that he really wants to talk about. That's probably a little bit more controversial than what we were talking about. Marcus, what say you? What say you?
Is it?
Since Trey is done with his word salad.
I wonder what it is.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and just lay the groundwork for you, ladies and gentlemen. As we know, was it over the weekend or was it last week?
I don't
Can't
remember.
now.
I think it was like last week.
I think it was like on Friday or Thursday. Anyways, a male that prior was already in college competing in the 100-meter fly. I don't care. Anyways, swimming, he was ranked 438. He is now identifying as a woman, and he beat Olympians in the 100-meter open fly. Olympian women, I'm sorry, multiple of them, and he's a man. So that grinded my gears a little bit. It is unacceptable that a man can compete against women and sit there and stand on the podium and hold his head high like he is a woman. So I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, and I want you guys, you all, men and women, to respond to me. If you're a man born with a penis and a certain set of chromosomes, you're a man. If you're a woman born with a vagina and a certain set of chromosomes, you're a woman. And I don't want to hear anything else about it.
So can we get monetized for this video if you say penis and vagina?
Maybe.
I think they're going to take us down.
No, that's a scientific term.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Just
Just kidding. We're not getting monetized. We're not getting any money this anyway. But I just want to say this. Mr. Tim Gunn, thank you for watching. He did say he's ready for us to change the subject off of what we were talking about. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Tim Gunn, on this subject. Let us know.
Brother, I've been trying.
Let us know if you like this subject better. But here, I'm going to start with just by saying this. I don't have enough information because I believe in this. Humans aren't the only species that are wired differently. There are other species that mate with the same sex.
Oh my God! Are you about to...
No, I'm just saying this. Trust me, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm going around the way with agreeing with you. I can't figure out. I don't have enough information to understand how this is allowed when you are. If you're this small, if you're 5 or you're 6, and you've got some things going on, and you identify as a female, and you grew up your entire life, I'm not sure if I still would have the same opinion of sports as I would if you were 20-something all your life as a male with testosterone going through your muscles and going through your body and competing with women. I've seen the effects of what estrogen can do to a body. Estrogen removes that testosterone, it feminizes you, or whatever the case. I don't know what the scientific words are, but I don't have enough information to know about how this works. I wish I did. I don't agree with just what just happened because I saw a grown ass man competing with women. To me, in my view, I saw this and it made me feel uncomfortable about it. But I also don't have enough information in order to sit there and say it's wrong or right.
And I don't have enough information either, but the idea that a man can compete, or someone who once identified as a man can compete with women, I think it's going to be bad for the sport.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand, and I don't want to sound like an idiot or anything like that, but to me, if you're transgender, then there is no more. You have no more features that associate with you with the other.
No.
The other gender. That's in my opinion, that's the way it should be. But if you are transgender and you carry any body parts that still associate you with your previous gender, then I don't think you can be called transgender. I don't understand. I'm not understanding how that definition.
I'd have to agree with you on that aspect. I'm a main proponent for that subject. And just to, you may know this, whatever, I'm just going to throw out some facts. There are certain test levels that the men, I'm speaking for men, have to test under to be able to compete in the NCAA. So let's take Billy Bob Joe. He wants to be his testosterone levels have to be under a certain threshold for him to be able to compete. He also has to be taking estrogen hormones. Nothing else. You can still have a penis, everything else, and you're still good to go. Which, in my opinion, is just disgusting because there's certain men that can go to men's tea clinic. That's a plug. I'll need payment for that. When their testosterone levels are low, right, and get tested. But I guarantee you that man that's going to men's tea clinic to get testosterone, if you took a woman of the same build and I put 145 pounds and I said lift that as many times as you can, I'm willing to bet my life that the man could probably lift that 145 pounds more than the woman of the similar build, because it's just genetically how we are made up. I agree with you. If you still have a penis, you're not a woman. That's all there is to it, brother. Now, if you've had a sex change, you've had the surgery, in my opinion, I feel like you have to have been on estrogen for 5+ years to even qualify to be able to do these sports.
How does he know that fact? I'll never know. I'm just going to have to look at his browser history.
Before I piss off the masses out there, let me qualify what I'm saying. To each his own. I don't care if you're LGBTQ, swinger lifestyle. To each his own. I can a rat's ass what it is. That's not the issue, and that's not the point here. I just don't think it's fair that if it's an individual born as a male transitioning to being a woman competing with women, I don't think it's fair at all.
Yeah. I think I'm hearing what you guys say, and I think I kind of agree with the sentiments that are being expressed here, because what I'm hearing, what I thought I was hearing from Trey, and I might be way off base, but I think what I'm hearing, there are if you have too much testosterone in your system, and you're a boxer, you are disqualified from the match for drugs, performance enhancing drugs. Mm-hmm. If you are going to compete as a female, your drug level tests this high on testosterone, you can no longer compete as a female. You are going to be knocked down into the class of a male.
Down, whoa.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, white meat.
But I'm agreeing with you guys, because I'm this is not disparaging comments toward your ability to compete, but I'm hearing something that kind of took me aback. I didn't think about this until you said it, Trey. Is that if you compete as a a female, you should have lower testosterone or the same testosterone levels than the other female in your category. Okay, let's put some standards together. Not saying that you can't compete, and I'm trying to make sure that people understand. I'm trying to make sure that people have rights and inclusion into things that they wanted to do, but I want equal playing field. I don't want to have an advantage, and if you have testosterone in your system as a male-to-male combatant in boxing, you have an advantage. And I think that should be something that we should probably look into moving forward.
And I want to state this for the record as well, just so everyone knows. If there's a man that identifies as a woman and he wants to be called ma'am, I'm going to respect him and call him ma'am. And vice versa. If there's a woman that identifies as a man and wants to be called sir, I'll respect you and call you sir. I don't have an issue with any of that.
Absolutely.
Just so no one takes it that way. My
Right.
only issue is with competing in sports. And my main thing too, we both have daughters. You have daughters as well, so we all have daughters. Mm-hmm. I would be heartbroken to see my daughters compete in something, work their butts off just to get second place to a man.
Right.
I'd be like, wait a second. So I think to mitigate these situations, there should be a transgender genre when it comes to sports. There's a reason there's male sports and women's sports. There's a reason in the military there's a male standard and a female standard when it comes to the physical fitness test. Now we're going to have to throw in a third standard. It's going to be the male standard, the female standard, and the transgender standard, or whatever is the most politically correct term to be called. I do not think it's fair. It is not acceptable. It's not fair.
Well,
and I don't know if y'all know this, but the mayor of Houston put in a new law saying that if you were a man, you can't compete in sports anymore.
Well,
not anymore, but you can't be a man and compete in female sports.
And that's where I was going to go with this. Let's take it to the serious level, okay? Let's take it to a point where we're talking about older people who say, "Hey, I want to do the estrogen shots. I want to do this and actually trans into a male or female based upon your sexual orientation when you were born." Where it gets cloudy for me is because I believe that kids should have the freedom in order to be who they want to be when they grow up. And I'm saying this again. I only come from a place of genuine space for you guys. I'm not going to talk about something that I don't know. I don't know about, or I'm trying to press upon you guys from a place where I didn't experience something. This might shock you. Growing up a Jehovah's Witness, I had a sister. My sister loved dolls. I loved my sister. We're only 18 months apart. I used to play dolls with my sister.
I can see that.
Thanks. My dad made me wear a dress.
As punishment?
As punishment. Out in the front of my house.
That's fucked up.
This is why I keep telling you guys. I have so many stories to tell about the reasons why I do and say the things that I say. I don't say them because it makes for a good podcast. I'm coming from experience and from examples of where I've come and how I've been raised and how I've overcome certain things. We all have overcome things. But when you talk about this subject, my sister is, I'm not mentioning her name, but she's my sister, is gay. And even when she came to me and came out to say that she was gay, she said that she was afraid. I was the last person she told. Because she thought of all the people, because of my, status in my community or my, whatever I was doing, my career, that I was going to have the hardest time with her decision. I said, look, I knew you were gay back when you were a tomboy when you were growing up. I know you were dating these guys, but you were still gay. And she was so happy that the fact that I did not have a problem with her being gay. this is not about being gay, being trans, and I don't think there should be a separate category for people or kids that are growing up who identify like Dwayne Wade's daughter. If you're growing up and you're in that community and you're doing these types of things, then Zaya, something like that. You should be able to have a comfortable place to be able to identify with whoever you think you belong, whatever sexual orientation that you belong with. I don't agree with, and having a problem, I'm not saying I don't agree with, I'm having a problem with is if you were 19, 20 in college and you were a male last semester and now you want to transition and now you want to be a female and you're competing with these women who have worked all their lives. I'm having the problem with that. And that's where this example came into play.
And I think all of the fingers.
Wait. Sorry. Tim, she did not kick my ass. I was the upper hand on that fight. My sister did not kick my ass, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching the video or the live feed and you're talking and you see Tim and say that my sister beat me up, that is a false news. Fake news. I know Trey's about to say that.
Happen as well.
No, you didn't. Go ahead. Go ahead, Marcus. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say all the fingers should be pointed squarely at the NCAA, and they because they're the ones that have allowed that to happen. They put in, to your point, Trey. He did. She, Leah Thompson, did meet qualifications, to compete, but I think the NCAA has missed it on this. I think I read one article, and I kind of agree with this. I don't necessarily want to have a separate category for them to compete, but I think that all transgender, either male or female, whichever, they should be open. There should be an open competition between all transgender athletes. But at the very least, I do not think a transitioning male should be allowed to compete with women.
It's weird.
It's not fair.
I just don't have enough information on it either to like. I just don't have enough information to actually be. I need more input. I need more input in order to have a more of an intelligent conversation on the matter. To be honest with you.
Right. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty cut and dry thing, right? Men should compete against men. I think they need to relook at the testosterone level issue, right? Is that true? Because how much science has really gone into this, right? How much anatomy has been looked, you know what I'm saying? So, because in my opinion, right, I'm not a physician, I'm not a scientist, I don't major in anatomy, but I still feel, in my opinion, I feel like that, I could take estrogen for 6 months and probably still be, not be as strong as I am now, but I still feel like I can have the upper hand against a female counterpart. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm trying to get at. You know what I'm saying? Because if you stop taking that estrogen, what happens? Your testosterone levels could shoot back up immediately. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You know what I'm saying? How long does it take for your testosterone to start producing again? When does the NCAA test them? The day before? 2 weeks before? Does he stop taking his stop taking his estrogen right after that test is taking place? You know what I'm saying?
7 days.
Too many factors. Say again?
7 days. I'm just kidding.
7 days?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I have no idea.
Then, I feel like could your body start producing testosterone at a high level within 7 days? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
But let me tell you why I'm saying what I'm saying. I just don't think that we segregate people. And again, I'm going back to the younger kids. I don't give a rat's behind about the kids or the adults who are in college again, who were a freshman, they were a male, and then a sophomore, they're a female or claim to be a female. Okay, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about the kid who was growing up, has always felt that they were in a different body than which they are biologically born. I believe that happens. I really do. I believe that there are. Let me qualify this. I believe that there are people who are wired differently than what their natural birth sex says that they're supposed to be. But I also think that there are people who were like, you know what, I want to experiment this way and this way. I believe that happens too. That people who just want to experiment with their sexual orientation. I'm more concerned about the little kids who are just wired differently from birth and just say, I have to be able to either fake it to make it, or I can actually do something about it in order to make myself feel as if I belong in this group. I'm not, again, that's where I'm conflicted. I'm more concerned about kids than I am about adults who decide that they want to change their Caitlyn Jenner as sexual orientation. I don't care about those people. Do whatever you want. It's always about the kids for me.
Gotcha. Honestly, on that subject, really don't have anything else to say on it, right, per se.
Well, good, because I'm going to change the subject.
Thank God, Tim actually just texted me and was like, thank you, Trey. We were tired of hearing Brian talk. Thank you. And you're welcome, Tim. Anytime, brother.
So I started this last week, and I'm going to continue it this week. We talked about the top-selling hip-hop rap albums of all time. And if you guys watch this, it was based upon another conversation I had on the golf course. I'm flipping that today, and I want you guys to talk to me about who are the greatest MCs of all time. So MCs are people who actually flow. Give me some substance, not these, what's the word I'm looking for? The auto-tune rappers, mumble rappers. Somebody who's going to give you something that you know, and I know we're some old heads, Marcus, we're some old heads. So we know the history of hip-hop. If you haven't seen the history of hip-hop on Netflix, that documentary, go back and watch it. Because when they start talking about the leaders of the old school and how that group was Queen Latifah, it was De La Soul, it was Q-Tip, it was a bunch of other guys that just knew how to flow. It's a great. I'll open my eyes. It might not be it's the history of hip hop. It's something on Netflix called something similar to that.
I've only been listening for about 20 minutes, and you guys have covered politics, race, ageism, sexual orientation. Did I miss religion, or is it next? Actually, we're getting into how religion's alive
right now. And if you're not ready for Jehovah's return, I gotta watch that for you.
That was funny. But okay, so MCs, right? Do you have a list of top 10?
Well,
or is this just opinionated?
No, this is an opinionated, but there were some on this this group that I agreed with, and some I didn't.
I'd have to say Kendrick Lamar.
Name your top five. Name your top five.
Top five? Kendrick Lamar, Lil Wayne.
Wait. Go slow.
Okay, Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar is on the list.
Lil Wayne.
It's on the list. This is top 10 only.
Top 10. Damn, I'm good. I'd put Drake up there.
No.
He's not really a fucking lyricist. Damn it. Would Run DMC, even though they're a group, be on there?
No.
What about
I put DMX up there. I don't care what anyone says.
Nope.
Dr. Dre?
Dr. Dre's a producer, DJ.
Eminem's on there, of course.
Eminem's on there.
I know he's on there. More lyricists. I'd say Biggie has to be on there.
He's on there.
Biggie was a mean lyricist. Common?
Nope. I like what you're going, though. I like that what you're thinking on there. He probably is top 20, but he's not top 10.
Yeah.
On this particular group.
What about Nas?
On the list.
Nice.
You're good, Trey.
Tupac?
Since I thought if Biggie was on that, Tupac's got to be there.
I just think Biggie's flow was more lyrical. than
Tupac is not on
was.
this one.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I think there's only one person two people you haven't mentioned. And one of these two, I don't think you're going to get. Well, there's three you haven't mentioned. Four.
I'm gonna say flow.
There's
Rider.
four. There's four. Nope.
Better not be flow rider.
Nope.
Okay.
There's five you haven't mentioned. Some of these, and this is billboards. This is billboards.
Jay-Z, Kanye. I like that, Tim. Jay-Z and Kanye.
Nope. Jay-Z's on there. Jay-Z's on there, yes.
Kanye's not there.
Maybe Kanye was, and they kicked him off.
Most Def, I look. Most Def should be on this one, but again, it's not on this one that I saw. So no.
Oh, I don't know. I can't figure it out.
It's not. Listen.
Finish your drink.
Listen, I would have actually put Ice Cube as a good lyricist.
Yeah, I guess.
Q-Tip. I would have put Tribe Called Quest. There's a lot of lyricists out there, but they didn't make this particular list. Eminem's on there. Hold on. Eminem's on there, Tim. Big Daddy Kane is not. Jay-Z is on there. Nas is on there, but not Pac. So here's what the Billboard music website says are the top MCs. Lil Wayne. This is number 10. Kendrick Lamar is number 9. I don't agree with Kendrick Lamar because there's not a body of work that gives me that he's that great of a lyricist. The things he's put out have been great. They have meaning. They're great, but there's no Kendrick Lamar. Now, this one, it's really kind of confusing to me. Ghostface Killer.
Okay. I wouldn't have
Part
gotten
of the Wu-Tang Clan. I get it. But he also wrote a lot of stuff. But he didn't strike me as being one of the most prolific lyricists out there.
I don't think so.
No, that's kind of weird. This one, again, this is the best rappers of all time. Billboard put this out. Not me. I'm not making this up. Number 7, you're never going to guess this one. I'm actually embarrassed to say this name. Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill.
Guys have a good night. That's why.
I don't understand. I don't understand Lauryn Hill. I don't get it. I don't get Lauryn Hill. Why she's on there. So that's number 7. So then you've got Andre 3000.
Okay. Oh, he's a lyric. He kills it. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I mean, that's Outcast, but still. Forever, forever, ever.
He just didn't have the body of work for me. I think he had 2 albums with Outkast. One where they had separate albums together, and then that was it. He did some cover or some features, and that was it. I'm not sure if I would put him over Mos Def. I don't think I put him over Pac or Ice Cube or DJ Quick, Slick Rick.
That's a throwback.
Queen Latifah should be over Lauryn Hill. Moni Love should be over Lauryn Hill. Nas is number 5. You guys don't know Nas? He was the antithesis of Jay-Z before Jay-Z.
The Pimple Butterfly, I agree with you, Lloyd. One of the hardest albums ever.
Who said that? Oh, Lloyd said. Oh, I'm looking behind. You looked over there when you said it. I was like, oh, Lloyd. The Butterfly Effect? What'd you say?
No, it's called Pimple Butterfly.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Lamar's album.
The Butterfly Effect is a movie or something like that with Nicole Kidman or something like that. Sorry about that.
An ass signature.
Yeah. This one I agree with. Rakim, number 4.
He killed. He's a lyricist. Come on. Damn, I can't believe I didn't think of him.
I agree. Then there is Eminem, Jay-Z. I will never, ever, ever get why they put number 1 as Notorious B.I.G. I can't, but he didn't have the body of work. Again, I'm only putting it the body of work.
Lil Wayne at number 1, honestly. The Carter 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, shit. That alone, I'd put Lil Wayne at number 1. That guy's the greatest at punchlines. Kill them all in the living room, or leave them dead in the living room. Get it? Or real cheese moving silence like lasagna. Like what? People had to be like, what does that even mean? It's because the cheese and lasagna are silent. Oh. You know what I mean? Like,
I get you.
Just some of the stuff that Lil Wayne would say.
Lil Wayne is up there. Lil Wayne's up there. But again,
I put him number 1.
it depends on who you're sampling for these, for who you're asking. Because if you ask a lot of people now, they will put Drake as probably the number 1 in the top spot.
I mean, he's the number 1 artist, 100%.
Yes.
Now, for a lyricist, no, I don't think so. But entertainer.
What's an
singer,
MC? What's an MC to you?
An MC is someone that I can sit here and be like, bust a flow right now. You just spit a mean rhyme. Which I think Lil Wayne could do that. Biggie could do that. Nas could do that.
Pac could do that.
I really am not a Tupac fan. I like 3 of his songs. I think he's one of the most overrated rappers of all time.
You better like Dear Mama.
And listen, the reason I think that is because, I mean, it's sad to say, but I think the reason his infamy lives so hard is because he got killed.
Same thing with Biggie.
But I mean, Biggie has more than 3 bangers. You got California Love by Pac. You got the Mama song. What's that song called? It's not Hey Mama. It's
Hey Mama.
Hey Mama. And then there's one more song.
Dear Mama, sorry. Dear Mama.
Dear Mama. And then there's one more song.
Brenda's got a baby. Keep your head up.
Where he talks about fucking Biggie's wife. Fuck your click in the.
Oh yeah. This song.
I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you.
That's it. That's literally it.
I agree. No, there's California.
Yeah.
There is dang, you put me on the spot. There's a lot of fucking Tupac songs. You know, and he actually started with Digital Underground. Because I clown around when I hang around with the underground girls. She used to frown when I came around. Now used to pass me when they gas me. Now they diss me. I don't remember all the words, but that's the song. That's the song.
I do Hail Mary, California.
Hail Mary, come with me.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend. Hey, what about me and my girlfriend?
So it's songs that.
That's a lot of songs, dude. So let me say this while we're talking about this, because people will actually say this to me when they're talking about other genres of music. Brian, you know this song, you know this group, and I'm like, I don't know John Cougar Mellencamp. Then they play a song, and I'm like, that's John Cougar Mellencamp. I know that song. I've been there. Same thing about rap music. I'm like, oh shit, that was Pac. That was all this other stuff. I knew all these songs. And I'm like, oh, hit him up. Lloyd said, hit him up. Yep. Just gotta tell you, Tupac's got a lot of songs. So I was listening to this song, and we're just kind of foddering right now. We're getting ready to close it up, but I'm going to tell you a song. Have you heard what is the one song when you were growing up, Marcus, that you knew was a fight song? Where if your boys were listening to the song, if you want to get them pumped up to like get really aggressive, what was that one song? And I guarantee you, give me 2, and this is one of going to be 2 of the songs that I know. And I just heard this song, and I put it on my playlist, and I played it on the golf course, but it was the clean version, and I was like, man, I want to fight somebody right now. Not really, but I just was like, it's one of those songs.
No wonder your friends think you're violent.
I am violent. I'm aggressive.
I'm gonna go with LL Cool J's I'm Bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
No rapper can rap quite like I can. I take a muscle bound man, brother's face in the sand.
Man, I know that song. I know every word to that song.
Yeah.
Yes.
That gets fired up.
I get people fired
That's
up.
right up there with
Oh, I'm
Dude,
bad.
what Lloyd just said is the biggest fact ever. But if you play Nuck If You
You
Buck
buck.
in the club,
Look, if you buck.
oh my God.
That's
dude.
a
So
yeah.
there's a place called the Party Barn. It used to be in Plano. Do y'all remember that place at all? It was there for like 30 years, 40 years. But it was called the Party Barn. And I went there 3 times in high school. All 3 times, it got shut down because there was massive fights inside the club. Yeah. So that's the type of place it was. That was the Party Barn.
So,
but yeah, Nuck If You Buck, everyone's fighting. 110%.
Give me one more song. One more song.
I probably.
LL is hard as hell.
See, I'm an LL fan. I want to go with either Rock the Bells or Mama Said Knock You Out.
Y'all all want to just be light skinned, don't you? Both of you.
All right, Trey. You give me. You got Nuck If You Buck. What else you got?
Any DMX song? Right. God, what's the one? Y'all gonna make me lose my mind? What's that called?
Boy, they don't even know you.
But that song.
What song?
You know what I'm talking about? Woo, y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
That's it. That's yeah. That was one of the no limit. That was what was DMX? It was not the no limit soldiers. It was Rough Riders. Rough Riders. So I'm gonna go play a little bit of this song, and I want you guys to hear if you know. I'm trying to figure out where is this? Where is it? There we go. Here we go. Can you guys hear this?
No, of course not.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. And I want you guys to tell me, Marcus, you will probably know this before anybody else. Okay. And hopefully you guys can hear it, and other people are going to probably hear it before you guys hear it in your earphones. You guys are going to hear it? So, C Murder, Down for My Homies. F the other homies, because I'm down for my homies. F the other homies, because I'm down for my homies. I'm down for my homies. F the other homies.
I know that song.
I'm going to play it. I play a little bit. I'm sorry if you guys heard the explicit version. That's the only version I can find. But this is the song that I was playing on the golf course when another guy said the actual N-word. He was a white guy because he said that on the song. But he didn't really say the N-word.
What did he say?
No, the song I had was a clean version. The white guy said the actual real word, N-word. Yes.
Can you hear it?
Oh, that. Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Yeah, I know that one.
that would get people wild up in the club, Chief.
Hey, isn't this from Romeo Must Die? I think that's where I first heard that song, Romeo Must Die, with DMX and Jet Li.
DMX and Jet Li. And Aaliyah. Aaliyah was in that.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here for a little pop culture on this podcast, by the way. We're here for some pop culture. Nas X. Little Nas X.
Who said that?
He needs somebody to love right now.
My friend Ken said that.
Hey, block Ken from the page right now. Effective immediately.
What's that shit? That's funny as heck, man. I'm sorry, that's funny.
Dude, I'll be on Lloyd. We'd love to have you, brother. We're right here off Virginia and Custer. At the
Absolutely.
same time, the same place, every single day. Or every single week. Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, start time. Just let me know and you can come. But what I was going to say is, he says that in jest, But there's like 3 songs that Lil Nas
I kind of
X
jammed
has
with.
that I'm like, shit, let me turn it up. Anyone around me? Oh, someone's getting close, turn it down.
Listen, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. There's some songs that Lil Nas X jammed. I jammed with Lil Nas X. Sorry, Ken. If you wanted to like gay shame Lil Nas X, he's not the top lyricist, but he got some good stuff. He got some good stuff. So anyway, do we have any dad jokes for Mr. Marcus today before we end the show?
Man, I don't have any this time.
I got one.
You got one?
Okay. So do you know why I told my daughter that there's no benefit of starting a restaurant on the moon?
Why, Brian?
There's no atmosphere. You like that? You like that one? You like that? Glad you were here. And look, I just had to fill in. I had to fill in for Marcus. I was just trying to fill in with the dad jokes. Hey, we appreciate you guys. So listen, we talk about some things that are really kind of, and sometimes we get a little long-winded, especially me, and I apologize for those. But there's reasons why we talk about these things because these are part of our everyday lives. There's conversations that I think that we need to talk about, bring them to the table. If there are some things that you feel that we missed, we didn't cover, look forward to the after party because I'm going to do an after party this week because of the nature of the things that we talked about. And if you guys want to join and talk about things that we, may have missed or anything like that, let us know. We're always going to be here at Uncorked or other places on Tuesday as the podcast. We will announce if we ever decide to change our location. But until then, we are at the corner of Virginia and Custer and McKinney. Trey, Marcus, Brian, we are your host. We appreciate you guys joining. I'm always glad to have Ken join the team, even though he never likes us or gives us a thumbs up. We appreciate you, Ken. Appreciate you, Tim, and all the other viewers, Jennifer, Melissa, Lloyd. We appreciate all you guys. We appreciate the gentlemen here who are also here locally and chiming in on our conversations. And until next week,